Hi guys and welcome back. We are going to hop into chapter 10 here, and we're going to start by talking about organizing and displaying data. Now this is a very important life skill because you're going to be inundated with graphs and charts and all this kind of stuff throughout the rest of your life, and particularly even during this time that we're in right now. You probably have seen a lot of data being put forth in charts and graphs. So understanding what different types of graphs do and what types of information are usually in different types of graphs can better help us to understand them. And being able to just read them is super helpful. So we have a bar graph here. Okay, so it's the fat content of a sub sandwich. Okay, we got fat in grams and the ingredients. Okay, so the first question is which ingredient contains the most fat? So obviously we can see in a bar graph here that we're looking for the longest bar. Okay, so it's the mayonnaise, right? It has probably over 10, maybe just 11, because it looks like we're counting by twos in that one, right? Okay, so now it says how many more grams of fat are in ham than turkey. So now I need to compare ham and turkey. So it looks like turkey has 3 and ham has 6. So we're going to have 6 minus 3, which is 3 grams, and we should always put a label on our information if possible. Part C says how many total grams of fat are in the sandwich. Well, we just figured out ham and turkey were 6 and 3. Bread looks like to be 1 gram of fat. Cheese has 9, and mayonnaise has 11. So if I add that all up, this is going to give me 20. Plus 9 is 29, 30. So there's 30 total grams of fat. And all I did was add up all of my different grams in each part. Now it says what percentage of the total fat grams in the sandwich are from turkey? Now if you remember in Math 7 when we did probability, we're going to take the amount of turkey, which is 3, over the total, which is 30, which is conveniently 1/10. So that would be 10% of our sandwich. Now I could do this just by dividing 1 divided by 10 or 3 divided by 30, or I could say to make this bottom look like 100, I need to multiply top and bottom by 10 to get that number. Okay, so we're going to continue on this next graph. So this one is like what we call a double bar graph. So the red is football and orange is basketball, and we have different years and the average attendance per game in thousands. So it's very important to make sure sometimes that we read this extra part, because it's not saying 5 people attended the game, it's saying 5,000 attended the game, and here is 10,000 attended, 15,000, 20,000 attended, 25,000 attended. And making sure you read the title. What is it actually trying to tell me? So sport attendance in state college. So those are things when you're looking at these different types of graphs to really read and make sure you're understanding what information are they telling me or trying to tell me. So it says, in which year did State College have the greatest average attendance for basketball? So I'm looking at my orange ones, and I'm going to look at my highest one for orange, and it looks to be the tallest orange one is in 2003. So in 2003 we had the highest average, because this is already in average attendance, otherwise I'd have to try and calculate the average, which would be difficult from a graph. So it says, on average, how many more people attended a football game than a basketball game in 2001? So it looks like, again, we're going to guesstimate. So we'll say that's about 12,000. And in 2001, for football, that would be 20,000. So 20 minus 12 would be 8. And since we're in thousands, I can't spell today. So there's about 8,000 more people going to a football game than a basketball game in 2001. Okay. Now line graphs. Okay. We use line graphs when we're trying to show like a progression of things changing. Okay. Usually when there's one data point. So temperature a lot of times will be a line graph. So we have a temperature on one day. Okay. So we have temperature in Fahrenheit, which is good to know, and the time of day. So it said at what time of day was the temperature the warmest? So I'm looking at my highest here. And it looks like at 4 p.m. we hit our peak. Okay. And it says, during which 4-hour time period did the temperature increase the most? So here we're looking at a temperature increase. Looks like maybe the slope isn't that high, but it's getting higher here and higher here and a little bit higher here. But then it starts decreasing here, right? So when we're looking at that, I'm going to erase some of my marks here. Okay. So we can see as we're going, I'm going to change colors here, are going up, 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 down. Okay, it's not a huge downward, but we're starting to go down. So we're going from midnight to 4 p.m. is my largest increase, if that's a 4-hour period, because 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm sorry. That's 16 hours. They just want a 4-hour period. So I'm looking at the slopes of all these, And this slope is the largest, okay? So between 8 a.m. and noon is the highest jump, okay, or the most jump from 8 a.m. to noon, okay, which makes sense. Our sun is rising there and then hitting the highest point in the sky. So make sure you are reading this, because when I first saw this, I thought this was 1 hour each, but it's actually 4 hours. So they wanted just one of these sections, not multiple sections, okay? But this information of seeing that it goes up multiple times and then down is still helpful, because we know it's definitely not that 4 hour time period for warmest temperature increase. Continuing on here. So this is a double line graph, okay? So maybe we want to compare 2 years in a row of different things, or maybe 2 different types of airlines, as this case is showing. Okay, so airline A is blue and airline B is purple. And we have the months, January, February, March, April, May. Continuing on and making sure we read that label here. And we have price in dollars. Okay, so it says, in which months did airline B charge more than airline A? So airline B is purple. So we want to know, when is purple higher? So it looks like purple is just a touch higher here in April. And then we're looking when purple is higher, and it looks like it's just a little bit higher in September. Right here, it's a little bit lower, so we're not going to include October. So I would say April and September. Add an E in there. Okay, and it says, during which months did the airlines charge the same airfare? Okay, so April is pretty darn close to the same, but it looks like May, they're right over top of each other. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you zoom in on that, okay, May, they're right on top of each other. October, again, they're really close, but you can still see the distinction between the blue and the purple. So we are going to say May for the second question. Okay. Now, a pie chart, okay, so we have a fruit salad. Okay, pie charts are typically used when we're out of 100%, okay? There's a total 100%. This fruit salad is only going to have cantaloupe, strawberry, banana, blueberry, and kiwi in it, and that's out of the total, okay? So we're going to look at this. It says, which 2 fruits together make up half of the salad? So I'm looking at half. This is in half, right? Here we can see this half line, and we can see that bananas and strawberries are half line. So we have bananas and strawberries. Okay, and it says, which fruit is used more than any other? Sorry about that weird 0 there. Not really sure what that's about. And the largest chunk, or the largest pie section, is cantaloupe, right? And we can even see in the labels, this is 2 cups, 2 cups, 2.5 cups. So cantaloupe is the most. So they like some melon in their fruit salad. Okay. Now page 3, this is just a lot of information about choosing and creating an appropriate display. And it kind of explains why we choose certain things. So what I want you to do is, on your notes, and this is on a Google Doc on Google Classroom, so I want you to read this, okay? Maybe highlight or write down some important things. Why do we choose to use a chart here? Why do we choose to use a bar graph? Why do we choose to use a pie chart? Okay, and we've talked a little bit about those in the notes, but really read through every single step and how do we figure that out to make sure you understand where that is coming from.